Welcome to the I'm Possible Podcast, Episode 16, with me, Anna Esen. Today's episode is just absolutely mind blowing. It is not just a conversation, it's a deep exploration, a journey into the space where AI, intuition, human creativity, and the very nature of life and death meet. I have today a guest, Nizzar, a quantum brand expert, and he and I go far beyond the headlines about technology. We dive into what it means to be human in an age when machines can think faster than we can, but can never truly feels like we do. And this conversation was a spontaneous interaction, but it holds so much golden nuggets and perception that you might like. So that's why we decided to share with you. We talk about how AI can actually make us more human, why intuition might be the next currency, and what happens when you stop looking outside for prompts and actually start listening deeply to the inspiration within. And then we go even deeper into depth, into breadth, into the strange truth that the only way to fully live is to allow parts of you to die while you are still alive. This is one of those rare conversations where ideas flow like music, unplanned, unscripted, but perfectly in harmony. If you have ever questioned what it truly means to be alive in this time, this episode might just give you an answer, or perception, or even open a door to a bigger question. Have fun.
The things you start and that feels good and you stop
Mhm.
are the things that actually are the best tools to shift your energy. Like if you are in bad energy and you force yourself to start a new habit and you start feeling good and then you stop it, that's the thing that you have to put pressure on. That's on one side.
Yeah.
That's the thing that you have to keep doing.
Yeah.
On the other side, the things that excites you when you do them and you don't want to stop, like you're doing something and something cool happens, like I don't know, your kid comes and say, hey mom, can we come and play chess, for example.
Mm.
That's a good thing, but you love your son, you want to play chess with him, but you're still excited about what you're doing and you want to keep doing the things you start and that feels good and you stop
Mm.
are the things that actually are the best tools to shift your energy. Like if you are in bad energy and you force yourself to start a new habit and you start feeling good and then you stop it, that's the thing that you have to put pressure on. That's on one side.
Yeah.
That's the thing that you have to keep doing.
Yeah.
On the other side, the things that excites you when you do them and you don't want to stop, like you're doing something and something cool happens, like I don't know, your kid comes and say, hey mom, can we come and play chess, for example.
Mm.
That's a good thing, but you love your son, you want to play chess with him, but you're still excited about what you're doing and you want to keep doing it. That's the things you want to put your attention
Yeah.
on, and I have seen that with the book. I Whenever I start working on it, I work like a drug addict, toxicomane, like it's
I know what you mean.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I can't stop it, and because I have today the tools that help me say what I want to say the way I want to say it fast,
Mhm.
so that I can think about other things I want to say,
Mhm.
is is
It's amazing.
revelating,
Yeah.
revelating and passionating. The way people write is going to be changed forever, and I want to be part of that movement. I want to talk about that movement because what I learned through the process is that I have fought against the shame, the social shame of using a tool to write for me. You know,
Yeah, I understand what you
the
mean.
biggest writers in history had people writing for them. You know, in French, we call them niggers. You know, they used to be called niggers in France,
Hmm.
in French, you know, but still using an AI tool feels like cheating.
Yeah.
So I had to extract myself from that feeling so that I can keep on doing things that I like, extracting the idea of how society would react to my book and
Hmm.
thinking deeply that AI is only the mirror of what I say, and
Hmm.
it's only a tool to say it in a way that at a certain pace that gives me time to think about other things to say.
Yeah.
And
And
I
that's
yeah
perfect. That's really cool because thank you for this reflection because I used to love to write poems when I was a child or teenager. I just sit sometimes every time when I needed to write like someone greetings for birthday, I always create a very personalized like a poem for them. I sit and I rhyme it and so on. I really love it. And then I was even able to switch it to German in English, right? But my challenge with writing was why I kind of stopped enjoying writing is the last few years working in corporate, I needed to write always these corporate emails, right? So, but as a native, the people needed 5 minutes maybe to write or 10 minutes to write something very, when you need to put it in a high level, C level, and so it needs to be very diplomatic and accurate. And me, because it wasn't my language, I struggle and sometimes sit for 30 minutes on something that others will write for 5 minutes. And now when I started using now AI to shape kind of challenging emails, especially around communication, with business whatsoever, but I check it with whether it's resonate, right? I check what fits, what doesn't fit, whether it's my energy or not. The result has been amazing. And I'm like, okay, as you say, why should it be shame? It's like, I know inside the essence that I want to bring. And the tool just gives me this 5% or 10% that I still didn't acquire yet because it's not my native language. But what it also gives me is to write a book in, as you do it in one language and to translate it in five, because you understand five language, for example. So you can read it through and see whether your essence is still shining through, and it's exactly that where it needs to land.
yeah I 1000% agree with you. What I think is that it bridges the gaps between people and culture, but it also saves time, and
Yeah.
it creates a new currency, which is time, and a new understanding of what is time. You know, if you look at communists, for example, they would value the time spent on the creation of something rather than its value. So, for example, if a pen took 20 hours to make and a spaceship would make an hour to make, literally the pen should cost more than the spaceship. And that
Mm.
is a societal problem at that time, which is impossible to create a society that is flourishing. And that's one way of why the communism also broke up, because it was economically impossible to live in that idea. So what I think is that the shift
So
of
they are shamed. They are shamed if something was sufficiently created, but actually gave better value.
yeah, no, the currency was not the value. The currency was time,
Time.
in the idea of how much time I spent to do it.
Gotcha.
And I think that's the old world. The old world is about how much time it costs. Now
Hmm.
is how much time you save to create more things or to think
Hmm.
about more things.
Hmm.
And I think this tool is a tool that we need to look at as something that creates more time to think about new things. So, so if you look at it this way, you're
Hmm.
not shy of using it, because you believe the fact that I'm using it makes me smarter, because then I can put my intention into
Hmm.
something that does not exist yet, and that this machine cannot think about, because the machine cannot think by itself. The machine cannot create something by itself without a prompt. You have to interact with it so that it exists. So you have to believe. So those who understand the power of that machine in its ability to save time for you are
Mm-hmm.
those who are going to actually give a lot of credit to their creativity and their ability to become God in a way of creation into creating something in that space time that is saved. And
It's a
that's my belief.
quantum it's a quantum jump in another level. I say, and that's very cool because it's coming back to the conscious economy or conscious way. Because you observe this two direction. I don't know whether I told you. I saw like a position, like someone was looking for a vibe coder. What is a vibe coding? Someone who can code with an AI, right? So if doing vibe coding, what you normally need to code like 8 hours, you can code now with the right prompts and adjusting maybe 1 hour. So let me say you need 1 hour of work to produce 8 hours of normal outcome. What they started doing in this company, and that is, you see the old mentality. We are a new startup with vibe coding. We're getting so much clients, blah, blah, blah. We look for you, a vibe coder. But because we are a startup, you need to work 12 to 15 hours a day and also to be prepared for work in the weekend. And I'm like, hell the fuck, you didn't understand what vibe coding is. It's not about to put the person in the same mentality of overworking, of over delivering. But if in these 12 hours he could deliver this piece of code, and now it can deliver it through vibe coding in 1.5 hours, you need to pay him the same amount of money and not to willing him to work now, because you kill the creativity of this person. You kill actually the seed that the machine will then fast put into code.
Yeah, that's
It's
that's kind
exactly
of
the opposite. You see the mindset of this company is immediately, okay, that's
yeah,
not what you want. Old
but that's
paradigm.
that's exactly the discussion we're having. That's a misconception of the understanding of what is time, because these
Yes.
people, they value the time spent to act on something. And the
Yeah.
problem is that capitalism is actually, in a way, communism in disguise, because capitalism is creating entities that would
Yeah.
have people work there long hours
Yeah.
to produce something. And the
Mm-hmm.
more they work, the more the
Mm-hmm.
boss is happy about their people working for him. So
No,
that's
no,
slavery.
he's happy about the money getting.
Yeah, yeah, but no, but if you think about it, like if I can see myself with
Oh,
my
yeah, you're
boss,
right. You're
if I
right.
did something in 5 minutes, my boss wouldn't tell me, so just go away. He would ask for me more, or he would like to see his money in front of him, spending 9 hours a day. So that's why we created 9 to 5.
My ex-husband told this to me 2 days ago, and that was something also I was thinking. He said, I actually, it's not good to be a good employee in the company, because the better you are, more work you're getting. So that means, if you, as you say, if you do something in 5 minutes, I don't need 1 hour for this. So you get like 30 times more work, because they want to keep you in this time. As you say, he pays you 8 hours, 9 hours. So you need to be, and maybe the money difference in the payment is not big. Maybe the one get 100K a year and use 120, but you do 30 times more work. So that means you create 30 times more revenue.
That's as you said, the old mentality.
Yeah.
And the frustration for people like you and me. And I was writing about that right now, like right before I talked to you. I was writing a paragraph of the book. The frustration is about the time spent between the vision and that vision becoming mainstream. And that's
Oh,
that's
yes.
that's very, I
Mm.
mean, I have always asked the universe to be in that position, to be early in the thinking, in the building. And one day I
But
have,
it's challenging, or
yeah. Because when you are there, and what I didn't know is the frustration and the discussions. It's impossible to have a discussion with someone who's not there yet because you see where it can go and you want to have a discussion from that future potential and you want to come back and build what's missing because that future potential for you is beautiful. So you can go there and say, oh, this is going to happen with the tools we have. Let's come back
Mhm.
and think about what can go wrong and let's build it with the idea of not making it wrong. And that frustration of not easily finding people to have a discussion with concerning this, which is building a good and beautiful future with the tools we have, is the frustration of people like you and me. So we need to find a way to bridge the gap between the frustration and this reality and accept that along the way, we will have the chance to meet people that are like us, but
Mhm.
we are still, in a way, early in the process. So it creates a lot of frustration to be early. It creates a lot of frustration to be late. Like if something happened and you missed the train.
Like the Bitcoin, I could
Exactly.
buy them for 10 cents. 10
So
cents.
you have to understand that your frustration of not being not today, not having bought Bitcoin at 5 cents is the exact same frustration of someone that bought Bitcoin at 5 cents and knew it would cost $100,000 years from it. And imagine the frustration during the 5 first years where he had Bitcoin. He could see what it is. He would go to every friend, every person he knew, and he would say, buy it. It's going to cost 100,000. And people would be, you crazy shit. This never gonna cost that much. I think frustration is just a point of view from time. So
Mm-hmm.
where you sit in time, frustration is
Ah.
always is where you sit in time, frustration will always exist and it will always have the same weight. The only way not to be frustrated on anything is to be present. So when you live now, you don't live in the anxiety of what
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow can be, and you don't
Mm-hmm.
live in the guilt of what you missed yesterday. So the only
Mm-hmm.
way for you to actually accept and understand what is time, which is a
Mm-hmm.
fleeting moment that is actually imprisoned between two lies, which is the future and the past, is to live right now. So I believe this tool, AI, as it's today not understood, is going to help us as a human being and species to sit quietly and accept what the present is. So it's like an
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
educational tool for us, for those who want to listen. For others, it's going to be destructive. It's going to destroy my career. It's going to destroy my job. It's going to take my job. Yes, it's going to go after your fucking job. If your job is a robotic job, it's going to take it. If you behave like a robot, you're going to be beaten by a robot. But if you behave like a human, there is no chance that a robot take your job. So this will input more humanity into what we do for those who want to survive. So the only way to survive today is to be human. For a long time period, everybody was behaving like a machine. People were on a fast forward machine thinking, fast forward, acting like machines.
Mm-hmm.
And we were behaving like
The
robots. We
copy
were
and
like an,
paste.
yeah, we were all in autopilot. And because
Yeah.
of that, today we are threatened, of course, by a machine that is better than us. So the only way
Yeah.
to survive is to be us. What is to be us is to be human. What is to be us is to be present. What is to be us is to be creative. That's what human
Mm-hmm.
is. So if we want to survive as a species, we have to come
But
back to the
also
roots.
not just to be creative, to be inspired. That is something that the machine cannot do. To get an inspiration just from your being, even like being with yourself, you, yourself, and I, no input from outside, like in the stillness. I have just goosebumps when I'm telling you, like by literally connect with your essence, you can drop an inspiration. A machine cannot have an inspiration from inside. It will need to be prompt always from the outside. And what we have been doing, oh my god, what we have been doing the last decades is we always look in the outside for things to inspire us to create something, a problem to solve, a topics to discuss about. I like that, I don't like that, but we forgot to listen to the inner inspiration, and that is the fear, because not a lot of people, the people are afraid to look inside. But the only way is to say to be better as the machine or different or who you are is to actually stop looking to the outside prompts and start looking to the inside wisdom, the inspiration. Because let me, the last few months, I've been getting sometimes inspiration to write something or to record something. And I recorded it, but I don't post it. And then I came across some people that the one channeled Source, the other one channeled the Pleiadians, the third one channeled Saint Germain, the fifth one is entrepreneur, multimillionaire, whatever. And they say something, and I was like, I channeled this just a few days ago, even if I didn't have experienced it, quote unquote, in the real life. I channeled exactly the message.
So what you call inspiration is basically intuition.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
being intuitive, and intuition is literally the next currency. How we gonna get paid or rewarded for being intuitive? I have no idea how the
No,
system is going to happen.
no
But
idea.
but intuition is what makes us human, and that's
Yeah.
what is going to actually shift us from behaving like machines into understanding what we are, a vessel for something to be crystallized through us. So sometimes you feel like this is not my idea, it just happened in my brain, because it's
Yeah.
just you are the vessel for crystallization of that idea. And that is
Yeah.
why I bought intuitiveintuition.com, because I know being intuitive and having intuition, what you call being inspired, which in my opinion is kind of the
No,
same.
it's intuition. The reason why I say inspired is because I think more people can connect to the feeling of inspired, because when you tell them intuition, they're like, oh, that's a woo a part of that. What women have intuition, men doesn't have intuition. It's don't have an intuition. It's kind of like, but it's intuition.
Inspiration is a let's say
Spirit.
a,
No,
a
Nizar. Inspiration is intuition in spirit. Inspiration comes from the being in the spirit. You connect with your spirit. You are in your spirit. Inspiration.
exactly. So so basically this is exactly
The
where
words.
but this is where we're going, and it's in my opinion uh something that people have to look after is is being in a position where they can have these kind of discussions, because
Mm-hmm.
and seeking to have these kind of discussions, because when you are in that mentality, life, universe, call it however you want to call it,
Yeah.
brings you those people to you. And with these discussions, we create a field of of thoughts,
Resonance.
of resonance that is not ours anymore.
Mm.
This, you have two ways to make it happen. Either you just make it, as we discussed, and it's not ours anymore, it's in the air, it's going to fly,
Mm.
it's going to happen in the heart of someone that is going to crystallize it into something different, which is beautiful.
Mm.
Or you just do it in a video like we're doing, and you think, why not sharing it with,
I want this topic you to speak on the Conscious Economy Congress.
oh, with a lot of pleasure. I mean, uh,
It's
whatever.
because I think that that's an amazing kind of like I don't want to say concept, because concept make it closed, right? It's like, oh, that's like a framework, but it's by looking your pillars of brand expertise, quantum brand expertise, your pillars of AI and Web3 technology, and your pillars of conscious awareness, so to say it, not to put this, because spirituality has started to have a little too much kind of to be misused.
No, no,
It's
no.
not
Be
a,
careful. Be careful with that. With that. And I stop you right now. And I'm really sorry.
okay,
Words have power, and they have a
okay,
meaning. And
okay,
you and me, we don't have. It's absolute necessity that we don't uh, stop using the world for what they are because of trend. Because trend is
okay,
going
got
to
you.
die. Because trend is going to die. What
Mm-hmm.
trend does is that they go forward, they make it like a
Yeah,
God word, and they start using it until it loses its energy.
it's
But what
power.
we ha-
Okay.
but what we have to do, we have to understand that trend comes and goes, and
Mm-hmm.
words they remain, and the energy inside the words will remain. You will die and love will remain. Like, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody's talking about love today, but love
Mm-hmm.
is love. You can It's like God. They killed God because they misused it in a way that nobody
Mm-hmm.
want to call it God anymore. They want to call it the universe. They want to say whatever, but God is
The
God,
source or whatever. Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay.
Oh,
And I'm like, let's keep fucking call it God. But the moment you start visualizing it as a big guy
mm-hmm.
with a big bird, that there is a problem.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
God is God. It's a beautiful word that unites us all. That says we have something above us, that is high and that is beautiful, and that loves us and that
Mm-hmm.
cares about us
Mm-hmm.
and that will take care of us, and that is a field of whatever it is. But let's keep calling it God. Why
Yeah.
should we call it something else? So now everybody says, okay, God, or you can call it the universe, or you can call it whatever. No, let's fucking call it God. And it's okay. There's no
Mm-hmm.
problem
Mm-hmm.
with that. Uh,
Yeah.
so, no, don't settle with trend. If it's a
Yeah.
word and if it's spirituality, is spirituality, we will keep on calling it spirituality because we know we are not tied to trend. We're tied to the energy that is behind every word we're using.
And when you look again, inspiration and spirituality in both, you have the spirit inside. It's the actual core of both. So it's in spirit. It's and spirituality is the area where you recognize that you and I, we are not bodies and our
Oh, I
thoughts
love
and
you.
emotions,
I love you. This is exactly what I was going to say. Not the body.
but exactly, but it's like it's we have it. We have the body, we have the emotion, we have the mind, but it's the spirit that we are, right? So it's, and the spirituality is like recognizing who we are, and everything else is just coming as a beautiful wrapping paper or clothes that you wear around it.
That's exactly that. Like the when you receive a gift from someone, is the gift the box or what's inside the box?
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't even question that. It's of course what's inside the box. The gift is never the box. So are you the box or are you what's inside the box?
Mm-hmm.
And let me question your existentiality, and let me question even the idea of death and how death is going to be questioned in the near future. Here's the thing. Uh, if you take a look at the amount of data and information that companies like Google, Apple, uh, Meta, Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
Twitter have about you, the
Mm-hmm.
amount of information they have about your behavior, your thinking, your likes and dislikes, the way you talk to people, the way you move because of the videos you post, the pictures you post about you, uh, your research on the internet, your privacy. If you
Mm-hmm.
take that amount of information, you put it inside a machine that thinks 60 billion times or 60 million times faster than the machines that we have today. So that's the quantum computing. You could easily say that these machines know you in a way better than anyone else on earth.
Yes.
So When you die, the only way for you to survive is memory. And you survive by people telling your stories or telling how good you were or what you did or what you left behind you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only way for you to survive in a way today, the way we see the world. But if you take
Mm-hmm.
that information and if you put that information inside a digital brain that you create, and if you
Mm-hmm.
take that digital brain and you put it in a robot, and if you
Mm-hmm.
put silicon skin like the dolls we have today
Mm-hmm.
above that robot, and if you position yourself 100 or 1,000 years from now, where technology is so advanced that these
Mm-hmm.
robots and these silicon dolls are so real that you cannot see what is real and what is not, which is an
Mm-hmm.
absolute certainty.
Mm-hmm.
Could you see and could you say that this person is really dead? No, it's not, because that quantum computing with all this data that is gathered from day one to the moment that person died will make it behave the same exact way that it behaves for 80 years. So what
But you
is
know
life?
what will be missing? You know what will be missing?
That's life. That's the question. The missing part that you're going to talk about is exactly what life is. So what is missing?
What is missing is because okay, this doll can have experience, interaction with people and learn from people, right? But we're coming back to the origin of our discussion. It doesn't have intuition. So that means
And
it cannot
exactly,
reshape. So that means it cannot die as a personality or identity
exactly.
and create a new one. So what we human do is, oh my God, by the way, yesterday I I was working yesterday on a program that I created 2 times already in a row called Architect Your Evolved Self. And to architect your evolved self by meaning is like see who you are, create the new one,
You have
kill
to
the
die.
old one.
You have to die.
Exactly, kill the old one. So what you are actually telling is that's life and that's human experience is actually constantly letting go of something you assume you are and creating a completely new version that is not linearly growing by interaction with people, but that have jumps that makes no sense. There's
Exactly.
a completely different belief system.
1,000%. This is unpredictability. So the fact that you become unpredictable through intuition, through being intuitive, to having a feeling is
Mm-hmm.
what will be missing. And the missing part is life. And the only way to understand life is to understand death. The moment you understand that you have to die whilst you are alive, that's the
Mm-hmm.
only way for you to live for real, is to kill yourself whilst you are alive so that you can create a new you that is aligned with you as a real you, because what you think
And
is you
even
today
that will be
is
never
only
you because
no.
it has again the next jump.
Yeah, but it will be you for a certain amount of time, because what you
Yes.
believe is you today is only an accumulation of things that happened from day zero to now. You are just the accumulation of what you ate, you're the accumulation of what you thought, you're the accumulation of what people thought about you, you're the
Mm-hmm.
accumulation about what the world was until today. You are an accumulation. So if you want to have your own life, in a way, having your, we call libre arbitre in French, which is decision making, then you have
Mm-hmm.
to kill yourself now. That's the only way. And then I believe truly that AI is going to create new philosophers, because people now are
New
starting
what?
to
New
think.
what?
Philosophers,
A philosopher. Okay.
philosopher, because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
now people start to think. They stopped thinking and behaved like machine for the past 20 years because of the internet. Because of social media, it got wrong so much that people stopped thinking. But that tool make us think about our humanity. And that's beautiful because the
It's
moment you
actually
start,
creating stronger human to human connection.
exactly,
And
it's
inside
you,
and between.
exactly, you, because you start understanding what is life. So the moment you understand that this machine is going to kill, is it's going to make life infinite based on what is life today, then there is no death. But the moment you question death, you're like, so what does it mean to die? What does die in that situation of data accumulation put inside the quantum
Mhm.
computer, inside a robot with silicon skin? What is death? What disappeared? The moment you understand that what disappeared is that fleeting thing that we can call intuition or the soul, is the moment you understand what is life. And that's what this tool that we call AI is going to create for us. The possibility to think
Wow.
again.
I love it, Nizar. I love it. Should I tell you this conversation? If somebody take the time to listen to it and really sit with it, it's like worth it. You cannot put a money amount on it because it's like giving you back the real essence of why you choose to be a human. It's literally, if you question yourself currently, what is to be a human, why I live in this experience, in this matrix or whatever, it's like actually exactly that. Because this is like
You
juicy.
know what no, what is beautiful
Juicy.
is that it's impossible to have this discussion again. Uh I know I know this, but I cannot repeat it. Like it's I mean the
Same for me. Same.
yeah,
I say when I speak with people is, they ask me something, I get something like, and can you repeat it? And I say, I cannot. I
yeah,
can try to reframe it, but it never comes the same way with the energy pattern and frequency that came the
yeah.
first time. Wow. I love it. I love it. I'm so excited about the book.
Yeah, what is beautiful is that because you are taking notes with your AI about this, uh, I'm going to extract the text and transform that into something coherent inside the book. And I only think that what is beautiful about that is that for people like me who happen to have a brain that goes at 1,000 miles per hour, um,
Breathe
it
like
allow
me.
yeah, it allows me to create silence, because the moment thinking is just like diarrhea for the brain, you know that.
Yeah, you say this once.
Yeah, yeah, I said that. It's just diarrhea for the brain. So AI in a way is a beautiful digital toilet, so
Okay, I want to
that's
see next post on your social media. Is AI is your digital toilet. Let's flush the diarrhea of your thinking. Please,
yeah.
please make this. Please.
Yeah, but believe me, I made worse than that on social media. But
It's
yeah,
not about worse. It's a genius. If you ask me, it's not worse. It's genius.
yeah.
It's
I
genius.
truly believe that. I believe what we think is maybe in the billion thoughts you have during the day, only one is worth thinking really about. And if that thought you had is linked to something that is either beauty or love, then that thought is worth having a look at. Otherwise, the rest is just anxiety in disguise. Your brain
Yeah,
is just anxious to die, and
yeah.
that's it.
It's. I heard somebody say that when you share something with the world, think of whether this wisdom or this message you share help them feel more connected to God or not. And I have the feeling that this conversation, just looking as an observer from the side, is something that actually can give the the inner knowing and reminder and kind of mirroring about our never ending connection to God, because inspiration comes outside of the brain. It's just like, it's dropping into. So this is definitely worth of sharing, as just by having our conversation with you, it's always like uh, like a perfect symphony. You love to talk in music. It's like a perfect symphony of energy moving from the one to the another one, and also dance. Like how the feminine and the masculine danced in,
Yeah.
like, when you trust each other, you can literally just go in a flow without scarcity of the judgmental of the other side or the thoughts, because you just know you've been seen fully and acknowledged. And that is like the real deep love having on a soul level, is to, you know what, it's you're perfectly imperfect, right? So it's the safe space to dance and to play the music and to create a new symphony that maybe sometimes sounds, and then next moment they're like perfectly aligned, but have no fear to go from this to this, right?
What I fully understand what you're saying, or at least I feel it. What's beautiful is that, and what I love about our relationship is how much sometimes you say something or I say something, and we realize that we thought about it before or we spoke about it before, and it just like now you don't feel like crazy. And what you're saying is something I'm going to share with you. Uh, it's a post that I put, I think, 8 or 9 months ago, where I said that the new currency is, of course, intuition in the future, but the real currency is love, in a way that if you can measure the amount of love that anything you are sharing or selling is creating, that amount of love should be the KPI for the price of the thing. So if this creates for your system, if this glass, if this glass I hold right now in my hand creates for your system an amount of love that is, I don't know, 20% out of a certain currency top that we put, then it should have a certain amount of price. So it means that pricing should be dynamic. What does it mean? Because that glass will not create the same amount of love for you than the amount of love for my son. So if we find a way, if we find a way to track in 1,000 years from now the amount of love, which is tied maybe to excitement, to whatever you call it, the amount of love that something creates for a person, then we can have dynamic pricing on anything. And we would create a society that will be ruled of things created based on the amount of love that they would resonate into the heart of people. And we will start creating no weapon. We will start creating things that look like
Love
flowers.
mirrors. Love
Yeah.
mirrors.
Yeah,
So, and the love mirror can have every shape or form, but it's like, what I just wrote? You say KPIs. One of the clients that I work with, he has an ethical and sovereign AI. He used, instead of KPI, he used KVI. So it's a key value indicator.
Yeah, key value indicator.
So the question is about what I have is a love value, or is love the holding power where all the values are included into?
I understand what you're saying. You're saying, is value the gold standard, like in Bretton Woods? Is gold is love the gold value, and every other currencies are linked to that value? It's a possibility. What I believe is that the world is showing us that having one currency could be one of the economical solution in the world. Like everybody is dealing with dollar, but the dollar is moving up and down based on what's happening in the world. But they still manipulate the dollar, so it's a manipulative market.
But the value of the dollar, it's not backed by anything. So the dollar used to be backed up by gold,
by
but
gold. Yeah,
since
yeah.
1971 it's not backed. So that means actually the dollar has nothing backed up
Devalue.
but its own value. So the dollar became kind of like the own value, but they can print as
Yeah.
much as they want.
Yeah, so it has no value.
It has
So
no
if
value.
some, yeah, it's the dollar actually has only a political value, not
But the
economical
question,
value.
if the dollar can be printed, if the dollar can be printed as much as it wants, and it's if love doesn't have a beginning and an end from the quantity,
Yeah.
is it not the dollar trying to show us how the value, so our currency, if we say it's love, also is something that you cannot measure?
I fully, I 1000%
You understand,
agree with you.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not a
1000%.
financial expert at all,
No,
but
no.
it's like,
The dollar is only questioning our understanding of what is money. Money
Mhm.
is, we all start to understand that money is just energy to
Mhm.
say, I want this, thank you for this. That's it. It's only energy. And the fact that
Mhm.
a country is printing as much as they want and say to the world, fuck you, uh, is something that puts us in the place to question it. So if you do the parallel between the dollar and love as being either the gold standard or the currency, my point of view is that the world is unifying, not exploding. People are trying to tell you that we are dissolving into different entities. I believe we are merging into one thing. We are going towards becoming one for real. So if you want to be one, you need one currency. If you want to be
Mhm.
one, you need one thing. You need one breathe, one belief, one thing, and that
Okay, I'm
love
gonna
should be.
question the belief. Okay, I'm gonna question the belief. What I mean by one belief is, I just wrote an article. It's called "The Reality is the Concentration of Humans' Energy." So the current reality we're experiencing is the
Accumulation.
concentration.
It's the
Ex-
accumulation.
exactly, but there is people experiencing different reality, and like we say, just to make it simply, I feel that there is like two reality. The one is the world is going down, we're gonna die, everything is destroying, and the other one, we are leveling up and we're creating heaven on earth. So just put it simple, right?
Yeah.
The one has, of course, currently more energy. It's stronger,
Yeah.
solidify where the most amount of the people are putting their energy, and the other one is kind of like punctual, right? So and people are starting sensing and moving around, but still like, I came across a interesting channeling message that really kind of resonated with me, because I understand the concept of unity and I fully 100,000% agree on it. But then when you look at why, if unity is the goal, so to say, or it's like unity in terms of, okay, going back to the source, to God, why there is this kind of separation? It's because of the value of the experiences, right? If the goal is to everyone has the same belief or viewpoint, it will become kind of, again, I don't want to say boring, but yeah, let we say boring for the lack
I
of a
knew.
better
I knew
word.
you were going there. Yeah.
So, but what if, so the idea is, what if you can be Nizzar in this life as an essence who has these 360 viewpoints on whatever, right? And maybe like 170 degrees from Nisar are aligned with 160 degrees from Anna. And 100, so we now, everyone recognize the sovereignty and the uniqueness of our own essence and the perception. And then in the new unified world, quote unquote, we choose to express ourselves fully, but that what where the intersection of the different viewpoints calm, where it gets stronger, that is what becomes a solidified for the um for the reality here on earth. For example, is to say we decide we want one common currency. We say, for example, no weapons. We agree on no country boundaries. We agree that there is no nations. But we agree that everyone still can bring their upbringing, or at least the value from their upbringing, as teachings and myths into the whole common. So it's still kind of your individual as a part of the whole, like my fingers, they can move on themselves, and sometimes the one makes that, and the one can be closed, the other one can be open. They can move differently, and yet they are part of my hand. They cannot just run away, but they have their own experiences, right? If I hit my small finger, my thumb won't have pain, just my pinky finger will have the pain. So we can still be individual, because I think that is one of the fear of the human currently is, oh, if we go into unity, I'll lose who I am. That's like why the ego is stopping them, maybe, of actually opening to this path. But what is if it's the paradigm of being both?
I I I I think you have a grasp on something that is actually creating substance in what we said before about time, about the past that does not exist, the future that does not exist yet, and the present moment being the only reality that we have.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ways to meet the creator is having an orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
When you have an orgasm, you're not there, you're here
Oh
now.
yeah. Oh yes.
I know. So the only way, or one of the only ways to meet with the creator, with the source, God, is to have an orgasm, therefore to be now and then.
Mm-hmm.
If you do the parallel between the white, beautiful paradise that you're talking about and the dark way, the dark side of the world where people are, some of the people are today, questions the idea of, are we talking about hell and heaven as either or? Either or is just a lie. Heaven and hell is just a lie.
Mm-hmm.
God lies in the balance, in the in yeah
Zero point.
in the 0 point. So it's not either or, it's either and. It's both at the same time, none at the same time, but it's definitely in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where God lies, and we are not either in heaven or hell. We're both and none of them at the same time. And this is where we come from. This is where we are when we have an orgasm, and and where we meditate deeply, or doing yoga, or having a kiss with your kid, or whatever. And this is where we are going to be, in that space. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
whether that we decide or not, because you said, do we decide for currency? Do we decide for that? No, we don't decide for shit. We just accept and receive what is given. And we, after COVID, are realizing that there is a force, a power that is above all of what we know, that is above it all. And we're trying more than ever to understand through tools, ideas, questions, or whatever. But we're not doing anything that Plato or Galileo or Socrates did before us. We're just repeating the story, which is trying to understand death and what is going to happen after that. But the moment you die now, you don't have to understand death, because now, if you die now, then you are alive, and you don't have to think about it, and you don't have to understand it. You just have to accept life. And that is where most people will start thinking from this part of the discussion, and beautiful things will happen. Heavy.
Yeah. Inhale.
Yeah. Inhale in paradise.
Exhale.
um,
Oh yeah, inhale in You're right.
yeah, yeah.
Ah,
I'm
that's a cool analogy. So that means every time you inhale, you're in the hail, and when you exhale,
in a
you're
paradise.
in paradise.
Exactly.
So that means the breath you take in keeps you solidified. The last breath, first breath in was entering the hell. The last breath out is exiting the hell and entering the heaven.
So when you breathe in, you create stress. So what you think inhaling is creating stress. So you create hell. When you exhale, you actually die. And that's where life happens. You feel alive when you exhale, when
That's
you
why when
extract
you,
from hell.
that's why the good meditator, or like really they exhale longer than inhale. That is what
Exactly.
activates your parasympathetic nervous system, is the one to, you know, interesting.
The only way to understand life is to understand death. And we don't talk about it. We made death as something, you
Stigma.
know, my
It's like, don't
yeah,
talk
stigma.
about that.
I have a 5 years old child who happened to witness the death of his both grandfathers.
Mhm.
And for the second grandfather, my wife said, we're gonna take the 11 years old to church, not the second one. And I said, no, never ever. We're gonna take him to church. He has to know about death because that's how he knows about life. And he has to be present because we don't need to make this as a stigma or something we hide, or that's just life. So when I talk about death to my son, and he talks about it a lot, um, I say, yeah, that's life. So whenever someone, and you can realize it, whenever someone says he died, you will say that's life. There is life and death. So the moment someone says this died, your instinctive answer is that's life.
Mhm.
And we
You're
do it,
right. We say this. It's
we
like,
do
that's
it,
life.
yeah, we do it instinctively, but we
Yes.
don't breathe with what we say. Death and life are just what you called dark and white.
It's the other side of the coin.
Yeah, and it's the reverse side. Actually, what you believe is being the dark side, which is death, is not the case. If one had to be the white side, is death, because that's what is actually making you understand life. And life only happens now and then. That's it. It doesn't happen yesterday. It doesn't happen tomorrow. It happens now, and it's fleeting, and it's a small moment like a hair, and that's where everything lies.
I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as we had fun recording it. There was even more parts of this conversation, but I think that's more than enough perceptions to sit with it and to reflect. And let me know in the comments whether you'd love to have further spontaneous conversation when we happen to record it, and share it with you. Until then, I see you. I love you. I'm